So,
Go.
I received
next subject.
a comment.
Why we need to exterminate things? Okay.
I received a comment on my Palestine video. The clip from the last stream. And I gotta tell you, they were nice about it. They weren't mean to me. They treated me with respect. They're clearly a fan of mine. All right, so
they had decorum.
don't attack this person. Don't seek out this person and or any of that. But it did upset me, the lies and the distortions that they were peddling about this issue. And yes, I am talking about Israel, Palestine once again. I think this is going to be a pervasive subject that will keep coming up on the show since it is ongoing.
Was it current events?
Right, yeah, it's the biggest current event right now. So this person says
It's a leftist meme.
It's a leftist meme, yes. This person's... And the way they typed it was weird, too. Like, they kept, like, pressing enter when they didn't need to. I don't know. You could have just put a period and then start off with the next sentence. You didn't... Like, the way they typed it was just... it's painful in my eyes. But, okay. I really dislike... And this screenshot is in this group chat, so you can read along if you like. I really dislike this whole Palestine and Israel war going on because it's a literal stalemate. Both sides have a legitimate argument to make and it never ends. First of all, stalemate? I don't think this is what a stalemate is. Last I checked, I'm pretty sure a stalemate is when... Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I could go look up the fucking definition right now if you want. But if we look up the definition of stalemate, maybe they meant it in a different context or something.
Yeah.
A situation in which further action or progress by opposing or competing parties seems impossible. Right, so I'm thinking like, like the trenches in like World War I, where, either side's barely making any gains, something like that. That is not what's happening in Gaza right now. It is not a stalemate. It is a complete, to use the term of this stream, rolling of one side into another side's territory. There is no further action that can be accomplished. They are literally furthering all the way to the tippy bottom, I should say, of Gaza, which is Rafah. That is not a stalemate.
Yeah. Let's say the Battle of Kurg was a stalemate.
Everyone.
This is not.
They're squeezing everyone. Like, so many land is like just completely empty after all their fucking bombing.
It's rubble.
Like they're just squeezing everyone smaller and smaller.
Like it's literally reduced to nothing.
It's millions of people inside a city smaller than probably most major American cities.
Well, if I might interject, this is somewhat different from the definition of stalemate that I'm used to.
What's the definition you're used to? I'm just going by Google here. There's a second definition. Maybe that's what you're talking about. But yeah, actually, the second.
Well, in Australia.
Before you get to that, just let me say this. Before you get to that, the second definition contradicts it even more. A position counting as a draw, in which a player is not in check but cannot move except into check. That's for chess. That's a stalemate. So they are still moving. They are moving further and further and further and further, and they have been the entirety of this conflict. So what's your definition of stalemate? And I'd like to know if it anywhere near aligns with what this person's trying to say.
I mean, I just wanted to make a lame joke, like a lame pun, but maybe this isn't the time for that. Sorry.
Maybe not. It is a pretty serious issue. I mean, children are getting their fucking limbs blown off, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Here's my personal take on the whole thing. I think if people truly want peace between both parties, there needs to be an effort to peace by both sides. Okay, I can agree with that. Can everyone else agree with that? Pretty good start aside from the stalemate.
Yes. Yeah.
Ideally, yeah. I think there should be an effort for peace by both sides. The only issue I have with that, though, is that Hamas has literally flat out said, we will exchange the hostages for a permanent ceasefire. They've said that they'll do that. So there have been attempts on to make an effort for peace on one side, but not the other. There is no attempt. Netanyahu has laid out explicitly what his plan is for the Gaza invasion. And that is the complete destruction of Hamas. What does that even mean? Hamas is an idea. How do you destroy an idea? All you're doing by all this death and devastation and bombing and brutality, you are creating more Hamases by doing that. You are taking this fringe idea and you are exploding it exponentially, just like the United States did back with their foreign policy post World War II. Right? Like
literally
like in the early 90s, right? Like the issue of extreme Islamist movements were these little terrorist cells that literally had absolutely no fucking power. But then we went in there and we fucking bombed the shit out of Iraq. We fucking took out Saddam Hussein. We created all these fucking power vacuums in Iraq and Libya and all these different fucking places. And then what ends up happening? Someone needs to fill that fucking power vacuum that isn't a fucking weak-ass, shitty fucking puppet of the United States. So what ends up happening? These fucking extremist groups become emboldened. They get more people joining their ranks. It has happened time and time again. The entire rise of ISIS was a direct fucking result of the Iraq War.
Yep.
So yes, there needs to be an effort for peace by both sides, but in reality, there is an effort for peace by one side, and then the other says, go fuck yourself, I'm gonna kill every last one of you. You know, we're gonna liberate Gaza even if we have to kill every last one of them. Right?
Even the hostage.
Yeah, even the hostages. They don't give a fuck about the hostages. The IDF has killed how many hostages at this point? Maybe you know the number off the top of your head, Rurk. Also, I like how Wikipedia frames this. 32 hostages were reportedly killed in Hamas captivity, according to Israel. That's really interesting framing to say in Hamas captivity. But who actually killed them? Was it Hamas or was it the IDF? I imagine the overwhelming majority have been killed by the IDF. Because these hostages that are coming out, that are actually the few hostages that have been released, are saying, yeah, they treated us great. They gave us good doctors, and they gave us food, they gave us water, they treated us well. Because it makes them look good to do that. It's politically expedient for them to do that. Right?
Yeah, it's an act of fucking praxism.
Yeah, it's not to say, oh, Hamas is so humanitarian for treating their hostages well. Yeah, it's just me saying that the fact of the matter is they have, whether it's for selfish reasons or optics reasons or not, they have. Okay, so then they say, I'll give you some examples starting with Israel. I personally believe Israel needs to let off some of the settlements that they have. Some of the settlements? How about all? How about all of the settlements?
Just teeny tiny amount of settlements. Most of them you can keep.
How about, do you understand how many settlements there are at this point? Take a look at the 67 borders and take a look at it now. It's a lot of fucking settlements. So what do you mean by some? How about all? How about we at least go back to the 67 borders? Is that too much to fucking ask? If you would have just said that, then I would have been like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
It's at least the most somewhat reasonable fucking argument.
Yeah, like some. What do you mean 1 or 2? I'm not trying to be like uncharitable here, but like, what do you mean some? What do you mean some? How about all? How about every single last fucking settlement, illegal settlement, that has been declared to be illegal by numerous international courts? How about we get rid of all of them, right? Or better yet, how about we just have a one-state democracy where Jews and Arabs and Muslims and Jews all have a right to self-determination and democracy, right? And then of course the argument against that is, oh, well, then there's going to be a bunch of damn Arabs and a bunch of damn Muslims overriding our democratic power. Okay,
And?
I don't care. This is the same fucking argument that white supremacists make. We need to bring back segregation because of the Great Replacement, because the Democrats are bringing in all these minorities that are going to vote against us and our interests, so we need to make our own ethno-state. It's the same fucking thing!
Yeah, it always goes back to that.
Exactly the same thing.
Yes. That they have on Palestine because it really hinders the process for peace. Every last settlement hinders the process for peace, not just some of them, alright? So that's point one. Or that's point, I don't even know how many points we're at this point. They need to be more willing to give Palestine more freedom and work to a path to where Palestine has its own state, and they're probably going to have to bear some attacks from Palestine, and for every 3 IDF soldiers being killed, they cannot go in and kill 50 civilians every damn time. 50 civilians is pretty charitable, I would say.
That's a little liberal.
It's a very liberal estimate. It's more like 500, but sure, yeah, we'll say 50.
Even more than that.
Well, depends on what conflict we're talking about. This conflict is literally 30,000, so quite a bit more than 50.
At least the sentiment isn't too bad.
Right. I can agree. I can agree with the sentiment. Sure. Although I don't like the framing. This has literally been the history for Israel. Okay. I also agree, but again, don't care for the framing. Now, for the Palestinian side, there needs to be a massive de-radicalization in the Palestinians. You have to at least acknowledge that the Palestinians want violence, and not Hamas or the PLO. No. What? You have to at least acknowledge that the Palestinians want violence and not Hamas or the PLO. What does that mean?
What?
If they want violence, doesn't that mean they want Hamas? That doesn't even make it. That's contradictory. That doesn't even make any sense. The Palestinians clearly don't want violence because they're having bombs dropped on them every single fucking day. I don't think the Palestinians want violence at all. I think they'd rather, be able to fucking go about their day and watch TV and fucking jerk off and not have to worry about bombs being dropped on them. I don't think any of the Palestinian citizens want fucking violence.
Yeah, none.
Maybe in retaliation, but who wouldn't? If your fucking kid got his whole fucking body blown up by a bomb from the IDF, would you not want retribution for that? I sure as shit would. You kidding me?
Who wouldn't?
Alright, so, whatever. They cannot think that, or have that thought, because if they do, why would they ever push for peace when they think violence is the solution for freedom? What?
What? That makes no fucking sense. What?
So, you say Palestinians don't want Hamas, or the PLO for that matter, or Fatah, but they do want violence, and they think that violence is the solution for freedom, which is what Hamas believes. Therefore, that means they want Hamas. You're contradicting yourself, bro. You should have fucking proofread this. Like what are you going on about? And if it happens that Hamas would literally not exist anymore because there'd be no purpose for them any longer, and then you can start talking about pushing for a two-state solution path that everyone's been talking about. But until then, I don't see an end to this war anytime soon. It's only going to get bloodier as the war continues. Okay, so how in the ever-living fuck are you going to get these people to push for peace when you won't stop bombing the ever-living shit out of them? How are you gonna get these people and starving to death? Literal, it's a damn near famine happening there. How are you gonna get these people to push for peace when they have absolutely no fucking hope whatsoever? Anyway, they said, anyways, great video, Nicole. I mean, Darkscythe, it's been a while the more I think about it. So here's my reply to it. I say, I can't really say I agree. The relentless bombing of Gaza, the blockades, the open-air prison, the lack of hope is what created Hamas. Let's not forget that Israeli officials themselves funded Hamas back in the 80s to kneecap their more reasonable secular opponent Fatah, because it looks better when you're fighting against an insane radical Islamist murderers rather than a more rational left-wing secular government like Fatah. Israel has all the power to de-radicalize Palestine by making Hamas completely politically useless by giving them hope, taking the giant boot off their neck so they can breathe. Palestinians have two choices, like I said: die or join Hamas, and die. There is no hope for them, and they desperately need hope. My country can aid in this as well by cutting off aid and weapons to Israel until Israel agrees to a permanent ceasefire and Hamas releases all hostages, which they have agreed to do many times before. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel nonetheless. You can call me Darkscythe or Nicole, it makes no difference to me. Oh god, my throat's hurting. That was a lot of talking.
Yeah.
Wait.
Some water.
I tried not to say anything for this portion because I think you did a great job, like, addressing the whole comment. This is not directed towards the person, like you said. It's just that I just want to express my annoyance that I've talked about earlier. It's just, I hate the framing that Palestinians, you gotta stop the violence, man. You gotta push for peace. They've done that for decades. Sorry, this is actually something I read up on. They have tried so hard to boycott, to do sit-ins, to block stuff, and you know what? People didn't respond. What did they hear from the media? Nothing. They got no coverage. They got no publicity.
Nothing.
Also, like,
sorry, I thought you were done. I'm sorry. Continue.
Last thing I'll say, that's the mainstream media, and what Israel did in response to all of those, like, non-violent resistance acts, curfews, harassments, beat-ups, even shots with rubber bullets. That's how they respond when Palestinians try to push for peace. Thank you. Sorry. You can go.
No, I completely agree. And putting the Palestinian citizens aside, I mean, in whatever they're doing, whether it be peaceful or not peaceful, you know, like throwing rocks at tanks or whatever they're doing, or shooting fucking bottle rockets at the Wall of Israel. What about all the UN resolutions that have been blocked by the United States in order to, you know, achieve a more peaceful agreement in the region? You know, and like this is just an issue where everybody, every country in the world, especially the United States, has completely dropped the ball on for almost a damn near fucking century at this point, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I mean, it all started with the British, because everything fucking starts with the British, and that's how we got here.
Those damn Brits again.
It always goes back to the British, I'm telling you. If it doesn't go back to the British, it goes back to fucking America. 90% of the time.
Mel Gibson was wrong. English are responsible for all the wars.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It just makes me really angry that when people put more responsibility on the Palestinians themselves, when they have absolutely no power whatsoever to solve these issues. While Israel has the biggest military and is the most well-funded country, probably, or at least one of them, in the whole Middle East, and is backed by the world's sole superpower. This country that has all the power, all the, just everything.
Yeah, the resources.
But you're gonna say no. It's the starving and impoverished and brutalized Palestinians that have absolutely no political power whatsoever, have absolutely no power in anything internationally. They're not even a fucking state, for God's sake. They don't even have control over their own airspace, over their own water. They don't have control over anything. Yet you expect them to be the ones to fix this problem. Because I'll give you a fucking newsflash, okay? Israel did not give them a two-state solution before Hamas. They were encroaching on more and more and more territory after the 67 war. Before Hamas ever fucking existed, as far as I understand. I don't think Hamas even existed until, like, the 80s.
Around the 80s, yes.
Yeah, and it was, and before Hamas took power in Gaza, not the West Bank, but Gaza, in 06, before that, Fatah was in control of everything. And Fatah was constantly trying to negotiate for a two-state solution. Was constantly trying to find a peaceful solution for this issue. And yet, that wasn't working. They were still keeping the Gazans in an open-air prison. Of course, yeah, they stopped the occupation back in 05, but now they're occupying them again, so we're back to square fucking one. Right?
Yeah.
So, I just... Let's not both sides this. Okay? Because this is not a complicated issue. This is one side that has all the power, all the money, all the weapons, all the military, every fucking thing, the political power, the backing of major U.S. nations, normalization of relations with other Arab countries. They have all of this fucking power. And these Palestinians have nothing. So let's not fucking make any false equivalencies here. Let's not conflate. They're not the same.
Exactly.
Israel has all the power in this situation. And Israel has the power to end this today. Not tomorrow. Not 3 weeks from now. Not 3 years from now. Today. They just choose not to. Because they are the most far right-wing government Israel's ever had. And they...
I'm back.
Want nothing but complete and total annihilation. They don't care about humanity. They don't care about civilians. They don't care about women. They don't care about children. They don't care about fucking anybody that isn't an Israeli, a true Israeli citizen. Everyone else can go fuck themselves with a 12-foot dildo. That's the Darkscythe rant.
Well put. Very well put.
True.
Thank you.
I just want to add something.
Absolutely.
Just to like really like.
Yeah, give my voice a break.
There's
please.
something. All right. This is from the This statistic shocked me when I was reading it in the academic article I was reading about Palestinian nonviolence. But this statistic kind of shocked me because it's not even from like a Palestinian source or from they call that from like for a resistance thing. This is from the IDF themselves, the IDF itself, about the 1987 Intifada. The IDF itself reported that the second Intifada was 97% non-violent. 90-fucking-7.
The second Intifada?
It was the 1987, I think so. No, 1987. I think that was the first.
The first Intifada, yeah, because I know the second Intifada, that was the violent one. That was the...
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was about to say, that's not what I've heard. Okay, so first Intifada, yes, the first Intifada was very non-violent. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And you know what happened in that 97% non-violent one? Palestinians were imprisoned or under administrative detention. Women and... Yeah. Man...
Yeah, I mean, there are so many stories of peaceful protesters, maybe not completely peaceful. Again, maybe they're throwing rocks or something. But I mean, throwing rocks, really, and then they respond with fucking rockets.
Sounds devastating.
Yeah, like, are you really gonna respond to rocks with rockets? Really? I remember there's this one talk show host. He put it perfectly, and I'm probably gonna butcher what he said. I wish I could find the clip, but I really don't feel like looking for it. But basically, he words it like this. Now let's say I go to Rourke's house, and let's say Rourke owns a house. It's under their name and everything. They bought it. And I go to Rourke's house, and I say, Rourke, I want you to know that this is actually my house. Because, you see, my great-grandparents owned this house. And since my great-grandparents owned this house, that makes it my house. And then Rourke is like, well, no, it's not your house. I legally bought it. Your great-grandparents sold it. I bought it. It's my house. It's under my name. And I say, well, no, because my family owned it, so that means it's mine. Right? And Rourke says, what are you talking? Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? Right? So then I pull out a gun and I put it to their head. And I'm like, no, this is my house and you're going to get out right now. And Rourke doesn't want me to blow their fucking brains out. So they get the fuck out, right? And I fucking stay in that house. And they move to the house next to me. And they're really frustrated because I took their house by force. So one day, they start fucking throwing rocks at my house. Because they're angry that I took their fucking house. And I'm like, Rourke, you better stop that. You better stop that rock throwing. It's gonna be bad if you don't. I told you this is my house, so you stay away from my property. They don't stop. They keep throwing rocks. They break my window. So you know what I do? I take out an RPG-7. And I blow them up and I blow up their entire fucking house. Is that just? For me to do that? Because my fucking grandparents or great-grandparents happened to own that house eons ago? Sorry, my alarm is going off. Is that just?
No.
No. No, it's not just.
It's monstrous.
Honestly, I kind of want to do. I kind of do want to find the clip now, if I can, because he probably worded it a lot better than I did. I remember he fucking just steamrolled this person he was talking to.
I want to talk about Israel, and so can you even imagine any other country in the world allowing 530 rockets to fall before it took a step to defend itself? And then hearing the last segment, you guys were talking about not wanting to help fund the Iron Dome. The Iron Dome isn't just to protect Israelis. It's also so that they don't have to fire back and cause casualties in these areas of the Gaza Strip where the population is so densely populated. I just don't know. Tell me what you think would be an acceptable. When are the Israelis supposed to defend themselves? How can they do that?
Well, wait a second, Mimi. Let me just turn it around and ask you something. You are a family. You have lived in St. Paul, Minnesota, for your family and your antecedents for probably, let's say, 100 years. And all of a sudden, I show up on your doorstep, literally on your doorstep. And I say to you, Mimi, get out of this house. This is my house. Let me tell you why it's my house. It's my house because my religion says it's my house. Now get out. Now, I happen to be standing on your doorstep with a gun pointed at your head and at
Wait,
your...
who are you?
No. Hold on. No. I listened to you. You listened to me.
I don't know which side you're talking for, but okay.
All right, Mimi, I'm going to put you on hold so you can go ahead and interrupt if you want to. But I'm standing on your front porch, and I order you and your family out of your house. And I tell you that it's my house, not your house. And the reason it's my house and my block and my neighborhood is because my religious belief says it's mine. And you sit there and you say, well, no. What are you talking about? We've been here 100 years. I'm sorry. Get out, Mimi. So you leave. And the reason you leave is because you know if you don't, I'm going to blow up your house and probably blow up your family. So you leave. And you move down the street. And for the next 60 years, you sit there and you get very, very angry because I came into your house and told you to get out. So What you do, Mimi, you decide, well, I know what I'll do. I'm going to start throwing rocks at what used to be my house, and it'll break the windows. That'll make that damn Malloy move. So you start throwing rocks. And then I come outside and I say, Mimi, were you throwing rocks? And you look at me rather sheepishly, and that's when I level an RPG at you and your family and your house, and I pull the trigger, and all of a sudden, whoosh! You're all gone. Now, which of us is the terrorist? You tell me.
What's that I see in the ground right there? Oh, yes, here it is. You dropped your ass. I picked it up for you.
I found...
I remember Secular Talk, Kyle Kalinske reacted to it. So but like, he has so many videos about Israel-Palestine, I can't... It was from, like, 2014 or some shit, like a long-ass time ago. And it had such an impact on me about the issue, because I didn't know that much about the issue at the time. And that analogy had such an impact on me, and that's why I paraphrased it to the best of my ability, because it really put things into perspective for me on what this conflict is. So that's why I reiterated it.